Hello guys, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to show you another item in my Third Reich collection, and the first one is a card, basically a folder, and nothing to it, it's just a simple card folder. On the cover it says Zeugnisse der Deutschen Volksschule, has a very nice eagle and swastika on the top here, and that basically translates as certificates of the German elementary or grade school. And he would have contained certificates, report cards, and I've got two report cards here. These are from a girl who attended a school in Marburg under Drau, which is in northern Slovenia. It had been part of the Austrian-Hungarian Empire up until about 1919 when the Slovenians took it over, that part of Slovenia, and it remained part of Slovenia up until 1941 when the Germans invaded Yugoslavia, and from 1941 up to 1945 it returned back to the German Empire, and after 1945 it went back to Slovenia and the state of Yugoslavia. Anyhow, as it says there, it's an Ausweis über das erste Schuljahr dritte. So basically it's a report card for the first, I suppose that would be termed school semester. It actually in German says Schuljahr Drittel, which is the school year third. So German schools at the time had 3 semesters in a year. I have no idea what the British schools are like here, but when I was at school, we had 4 semesters in a year, but anyhow the Germans had 3, so this is the first semester for the school year of 1942 to 1943. And it says here, this is for Maria Dressler, Schülerin der 4. Klasse der Oberschule für Mädchen. So Maria Dressler is the name of the pupil the report card was given to back in 1942. And it's a German or Austrian name, but it doesn't mean that she is German or Austrian. It's more likely she was a Slovenian girl. Once the Germans annexed the area, which was called the Steierland or Steiermark, the Slovenian education system turned into was changed to the German education system. So they had Austrian teachers coming in teaching the Slovenians, and a lot of the Slovenians had to change their name either by choice or because they had to Germanize names. So I mean, it could well be a Slovenian person, but Dressler is a German-Austrian surname, so who knows. Anyhow, she was in the 4th class of the high school for girls, and 4th class is like 4th grade. Again, I don't know about the British school system. I think 4th grade in Germany would be the same as primary 5 here in the UK. Anyhow, it's the same as the American system. 4th grade in Germany would have been the same as 4th grade in the elementary school. Anyhow, we got a listing here of the Pflichtfächer, and that is basically the compulsory subjects that were being taught to the students. And on this side here is any additional information here. And first of all, we got Leibeserziehung, which is basically physical education, that kind of thing. So we're talking about sports here. So we got games, we got exercises, we got athletics, we got dancing, we got swimming and skiing. So anyhow, the grade system here is marked down on here. So the grade system at the time for grade school pupils would have been sehr gut, gut, Befriedigung, ausreichend, mangelhaft, und ungenügend. And that kind of corresponds to the American system that I grew up with. So excellent, good, average, and that would have been poor, and that would have been effort required or inadequate, I guess. So anyhow, turning back to the front here. So we got the humanities next. So we got Deutsch, Geschichte, Erdkunde, Kunsterziehung und Musik. And that is German, history, geography, art appreciation and music. And you can see it's been written down here. Befriedigung is basically average or satisfactory for both German history, geography. Art is ausreichend, so it's basically poor, but music is good. And then we got the sciences here, so we got biology, chemistry, physics. Rechnen and Mathematik is basically arithmetic and mathematics. Biology is again satisfactory. Physics is basically poor. And mangelhaft for mathematics and Rechnen, that is what we used to call effort required or inadequate. So she needs a lot of help with that. And she was being taught English as a Fremdsprache or foreign language, and that is poor at the time, or just acceptable. And the little bit here says, strebsam, aber sehr still und zurückhaltend, which basically means very quiet and shy, and reserved or studious. So she's hard working, but very quiet and very shy. Going on to the back page here, we got the teacher's name, so it's Stephanie Weiniger. She would have been either Austrian or German. As I said, the Slovenian teachers were replaced by teachers from the Reich. Anstaltsleiter is the institution leader, so that's basically the principal. I can't read the writing there, I can't read the signature. And it is Marburg on the Drau. Drau is a river, which starts off in Italy, goes through southern Austria into Slovenia, and then into Croatia, where it goes into the Danube. And the reason it says Marburg Drau is because there's more than one town in Germany called Marburg. And it's dated the 19th of December 1942 and has a nice school stamp here, which says the Hugelwolf Oberschule für Mädchen. Hugelwolf is, I believe, I can't remember offhand, but I think he was a Austrian composer of some sort. So the school was named after him. So it's the high school for girls in Marburg. I've also got a second report card here. This is for a year later, for the school year of 1943 to 1944. And this is the second semester. Again, it's for Maria Dresler, and she has now attained the 5th grade. So she's in the 5th grade. So what does it say here? It says, sehr still und schüchtern, muss sich noch leibhafter am Unterricht beteiligen. So that basically means very quiet and shy or withdrawn, has to basically be more active in the classroom. So basically a very quiet girl who needs to be, I suppose, participate a little bit more in the classroom activities. Anyhow, comparing it from the year before, her grades have kind of improved. Well, the sports has gone down from satisfactory to kind of poor, but German remains satisfactory. History has gone up to good, and geography remains satisfactory. Art remains poor. For some reason, she hasn't been tested for music, so it says ungeprüft, so not tested. Her biology has gone up from satisfactory to good. Her chemistry, which she didn't take the year before, is satisfactory. And her physics has gone from basically inadequate or poor to satisfactory, so she's improved in that. Her English language has gone from kind of poor to satisfactory, so she's improved in her English. And she's now starting to learn Latin, but the Latin is mangelhaft, which basically is inadequate. So, I mean, she needs a lot of work on that, I suppose. You might be interested to see that it's wartime. She's kind of in the German Reich, and she's learning English as a foreign language. So it's not that unusual. I mean, here in the United Kingdom, even though the war was raging, the British school system still taught German poetry and the like, so it's not that unusual. In the back here, again, in the back of them, you got another little box here for compulsory education. These are left blank because she would have been too young, but once she had gone on to a higher grade into high school itself, she would have had these additional compulsory subjects. So Kochen, Haus- und Gartenarbeit is cooking, home and garden work, so looking after the home. Handarbeit is handicrafts. Gesundheitslehre und Pflege is basically personal hygiene and health. Beschäftigungslehre is basically occupational education. Dienst is duty, so Säuglingsheim is basically infants, like a infants home, kindergarten and family. So again, once they get a little bit older, they would have been more geared towards a career in the home, as it were. It's been very, I suppose, common since the 1970s for a lot of feminists, left-wing feminists, for example, to say that the Third Reich education for females was basically designed for the home, which is true enough later on. But as you can see, the basic background education was quite high. In fact, it was higher than in my time at school. I mean, when I was in fourth grade, we certainly didn't have, for example, foreign languages and the like. Anyhow, to be back again, you've got the name of the teacher, Stephanie, and you got a change in principal, so you got another person here as the institute leader. Again, I can't read that writing, but this is dated the 4th of April, 1944. So as I say, Marburg is in northern Slovenia, and it was not occupied until the war ended, so it was one of the parts of the German Reich that was not occupied by any forces while the fighting was still in progress. But as I said, it turned back to Slovenia after the war, and it was I suppose it still is, a big industrial town, so it had a lot of bombing raids. It was quite largely destroyed in the war, and there was a lot of partisan activity. I mean, Slovenia is not far from Croatia, who were allies of the Germans, so there was a lot of partisan activity in the area. So it wouldn't have been the safest place to have a education, but anyhow, as I say, these are my two little documents from the Third Reich. So anyhow, this video is beginning to drag on a little bit, so I think I'll leave it here. Anyhow, I thought you might be interested in just have a look at a typical occupation area education report card. It is quite a nice document. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but there's a nice background motif of oak leaves and acorns in the back here, and the documentation itself is was printed in Austria. It's part of the Ostmark, so as I say, it would have followed the Austrian educational system. On the top here again it says the Oberschule für Mädchen, or high school for girls, the Hugo Wolf Schule, and again Marburg an der Drau. So anyhow, quite a nice item from my collection. Again, it has a different stamp here from before for the school. So anyhow, I'm beginning to waffle, so I'll leave it at that. Hope you enjoyed that video, and as always, thanks for watching, and bye for now.